Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa have long represented the very definition of family, love, and quiet strength. But today, a devastating reality has come to light. A devoted actor, husband, and father, Mark Consuelos' cancer diagnosis has shaken his family to its very core. The weight of this revelation proved too heavy, even for America's morning sunshine. Kelly Ripa has been seen tearful in public, visibly inconsolable. How did this shocking discovery come to the surface? Where is Kelly finding the strength to carry on? And what does this mean for the future of one of America's most beloved couples? Keep reading, because this is a story that will move you, one woven with hope, love, fear, and a resilience that dares to rise above despair. Away from the media's prying eyes, inside Mark and Kelly's private home, the first signs quietly appeared. Mark's health had begun to shift in subtle but troubling ways. He felt more exhausted than usual. A persistent cough lingered. Though these symptoms seemed minor at first, Kelly refused to dismiss them. Mark, however, brushed them off. He had always been the rock, the strong one, the energetic presence his family leaned on without question. But Kelly sensed something wasn't right. Women know this instinct well. Even as viewers continued to see the same smiling Mark Consuelos on television, a silent storm was gathering behind closed doors, one that would soon break with terrifying certainty. The doctor's appointment that followed changed everything. When the words were finally spoken aloud, it felt as though the ground crumbled beneath them. Mark Consuelos had been diagnosed with cancer. Kelly was stunned. After spending her entire adult life beside him, she was now facing the unthinkable, watching her partner fight for his future. How was this possible? Cancer is a cruel disease. Many watching right now have felt its reach through someone they love. You know it's more than a medical term. It's like a massive wave that crashes into your life and refuses to retreat. Kelly later admitted she could barely breathe in that moment. When she looked at Mark, she didn't just see her husband. She saw the father of her children, her greatest love, her constant companion, the one she could not imagine life without. Mark leaned toward her and whispered, "We'll get through this together." His voice was calm, masking whatever fear he carried within. For decades, Kelly Ripa has brightened mornings for millions. But just days after Mark's diagnosis, her composure finally cracked. Walking onto the set of her show, her voice trembled and tears filled her eyes. For the first time in what felt like forever, the ever-polished host struggled to hold herself together on camera. She told her audience she was going through an incredibly difficult time with her family. Though she didn't share every detail, her emotions said everything. Viewers saw more than a television personality. They saw a woman terrified of losing her husband. And in that pain, millions found comfort. Why? Because love, fear, and grief don't discriminate. No matter who you are, the feelings are the same. Kelly's public vulnerability marked the beginning of a long road filled with sleepless nights and unanswered questions. Their children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, were devastated. How do you process news like this when it's your father? The man who cheered at your games, laughed at your jokes, and guided you through life was now fighting cancer. Mark and Kelly made a decision: complete honesty. They sat their children down and told them the truth. Through tears, they promised to face the battle together as a family, no matter how hard it became. Privately, Kelly took on another burden: ensuring her family's financial security. She cried alone, careful not to let her children see how frightened she was. Parents watching understand this quiet strength, holding yourself together for your kids even as your own heart breaks.
Everything nearly collapsed. As Mark's condition worsened, he was rushed to the intensive care unit. Kelly remembers it only in fragments. The echo of hurried footsteps, flashing lights, doctors rushing past as she sobbed uncontrollably in a hospital chair. She was certain the moment she feared most had arrived. Time seemed to crawl. Doctors worked tirelessly. Kelly prayed harder than she ever had before. Despite the agony, she wasn't ready to say goodbye. As dawn broke, a fragile glimmer of hope emerged. After endless hours, doctors cautiously shared the news. Mark was stable. The fight was far from over, but for now, he had made it through. Kelly rushed to his side and clasped his hand, silently promising, "I'm not letting you go." She spoke softly about their life, their children, and the love that outshone any illness. It wasn't a cure, but it sparked something powerful. The days following the ICU scare were filled with hushed consultations, new treatment plans, and the harsh reality of a long battle ahead. Doctors remained cautiously optimistic, but painfully honest. The treatments would be grueling. The road would be long. Mark, once defined by his physical strength, now faced an enemy that threatened his spirit. As chemotherapy took its toll, his vibrant energy faded into deep exhaustion. And so the roles reversed. For years, Mark had been Kelly's steady anchor through the chaos of public life. Now it was her turn. Kelly became fierce, learning medical terminology, tracking blood levels, questioning side effects, and advocating tirelessly for her husband. Exhausted herself, she sat in stiff hospital chairs, holding his hand even as sleep overtook her. She read him poems, news articles, and passages from their favorite books, her voice bringing calm to sterile rooms. Meanwhile, the public began to speculate. Mark's sudden absence and Kelly's emotional on-air moments fueled concern. The pressure grew unbearable. Together, in a quiet hospital room, they made a decision. Kelly released a carefully worded statement, not on her show, but privately. It was simple and honest. Mark was undergoing cancer treatment. They thanked the medical team and asked for privacy, especially for their children. The response was overwhelming. Love poured in from fans, colleagues, and strangers alike. As Kelly read the messages to Mark, her voice breaking, they felt something unexpected. Community. They were not alone. But their greatest strength came from home. Michael stepped up, quietly taking responsibility without being asked. Lola, with her humor and warmth, became her father's personal entertainment director, lining up movies and documentaries. And Joaquin, the light, refused to let illness define his dad. He sat on the bed, recounting his day with boundless energy, making Mark smile, making him be a father, even if just for a moment. One evening, Kelly returned from a short walk and paused at the doorway. Joaquin was asleep on Mark's chest, curled against him as Mark rested peacefully. Kelly stood still, overwhelmed. She saw in her husband a father grounded by love. Silently, she captured the moment, a snapshot of what kept them going. As the journey continued, news of Mark Consuelos' cancer battle became public, shocking fans worldwide. Known for iconic roles on Riverdale and All My Children, Mark had been fighting the hardest battle of his life away from the spotlight. Though Mark showed courage throughout, Kelly endured her own heartbreak. Long seen as a symbol of optimism, her emotional breakdown on Live with Kelly and Mark revealed just how deeply this battle had affected her. Speaking candidly through tears, Kelly described the unbearable weight of watching someone you love suffer. Viewers were moved by her raw honesty and unwavering devotion. Together, Mark and Kelly chose transparency, not for attention, but connection. Support flooded in from around the world. Their story became one of love, courage, and vulnerability. And in sharing it, they reminded us all, many people fight silent battles every day, and no one should face them alone.